Let's talk about group healing and the vicarious experience and how the unconscious mind plays a critical role in how you not only participate or facilitate the group, but also what your brain learns from the group, both as a facilitator and a participant. When we are in group, people are sharing. Healing groups have a lot of energy, a lot of heavy energy. People are sharing difficult experiences and stories, and all kinds of stuff is happening. What we really need to pay attention to is how the unconscious mind is paying attention. When you are in a group as a facilitator, particularly, it's important to read the room, to notice visually what people are doing. Are their eyes darting around? Are they staring off into space? Are they looking down at the ground? Are they leaning in? Are they leaning back? Are their arms crossed? Are their shoulders hunched? So visually notice what's happening in the group. If you are a participant, look around the group and notice what other people are doing that might be familiar to your unconscious mind. Is someone scowling or is someone crying? And how is that resonating within your own mind? Pay attention to what your visual experience is. Is your brain giving you metaphors for what people are talking about? Visual metaphors, stories and pictures that your mind is coming up with. As a facilitator, it's important to notice the auditory of the room. What are people saying? The language they're using. Notice how you're hearing it. Notice if you are being affected by what other people are saying. Notice the group members. Notice when someone is sharing what other people respond with. Are they responding in their bodies where they are closing up, or are they opening up? Notice the responses. Do people want to talk more? Are people wanting to interject? Showing that they're listening, or have they checked out? So from an auditory or hearing perspective, how are they participating unconsciously? And from a kinesthetic perspective, which is the feel, the inner feel, notice your own body as a facilitator and notice whether or not you are feeling open or if what people are sharing is affecting you personally. Look around the room. Notice who is becoming more physically affected by the conversation. In a group, the learning comes into learning that there's hope, learning that other people kind of go through the same thing, that it's really important to feel that we're not alone when it comes to healing. But we're also potentially going to be learning things that we didn't want to know in the first place. Someone might hear something someone else says and pick up that learning as if it's their own. For example, if you are in a healing group with people who are having rocky marriages, and one participant is talking about how her husband is cheating on her, another person might not even be aware that their unconscious mind is creating paranoia about their own experience and then begins to wonder whether or not their own person is cheating on them. So a lot of times vicarious learning and vicarious experience in groups leads us to pick up things that didn't belong to us in the first place. So it's really important when you go into a group session or a group healing of any kind. And this can actually happen online in like a Facebook group, or if you're on Zoom, or if you are in person. You're still going to be vicariously learning and experiencing what other people go through because the unconscious mind is there all the time. So it's really important to be aware of not only what you're talking about in a group, but also what your unconscious mind is hearing. And start to recognize as you're in the group, are you feeling uncomfortable? What does it mean? Why is your brain talking to you that way? If you're coming up with metaphors of something that you've never really thought of before, wonder, why am I thinking this? Why am I seeing these things in my head? Or maybe you might be hearing things in your own mind, like internal dialogue. For example, I wonder what he was doing last night. Or, wow, he left earlier than he usually does. It may not have bothered you before, but when someone else brings it up, then your brain says, oh, I think I can understand that. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start paying attention to that. And that's going to give you more stress. So, vicarious learning, vicarious healing in group is a real thing. So just pay attention to your senses, your see, your hear, your feel. They're always talking to you and they're always listening. If you're interested in learning more, I'll put a link to my workbook that will help you learn the language of your unconscious mind. And we'll also give you access to my email newsletter where I get into the brain and brain learning and all those little nifty things that we never really learned about our brains going through life. If you found this interesting or found it resonating with you, or if you'd like more, just let me know in the comment section.